Well, first, an admission, and I guess I better get this mask out of the way. I forgot that I am the welcoming trustee today, but I nevertheless welcome all of you, both of those of you in this room and those who are Zooming from locations either near or far. We are a covenantal community, and we are very glad that you have come. Every one of you adds to the value of our community, and we hope that you will come again.
May we be reminded here of our highest aspirations and inspired to bring our gifts of love and service to the altar of humanity. May we know once again that we are not isolated beings, but connected in mystery and miracle to the universe, to this community, and to each other.
Good morning. The opening words this morning are taken from an article by Tim Stevenson, who is a climate activist and activist in general, who lives down in Athens or Athens, Vermont, depending on how you want to pronounce it. This article was written for the December in Brattleboro Reformer. He writes regularly, and on this article, I thought he was really spot on. So I'm just excerpting some of it, and I will do part of it for the opening words and part for the closing words. So bear with me here. As a civilization, we have responded to the climate crisis as if we could solve it through a variation of the same political approach that is the cause of the problem in the first place, exerting power over our circumstances in an attempt to control life as it is. Routinely employed since at least the birth of agriculture 10,000 years ago, the attempt to subjugate the natural world to advance civilization's signature mission of material progress was always an illusion. While seemingly successful, the effort to subject Mother Earth to mankind's dominion was in reality only an exacerbation of the hubris that has dominated our approach to life and lies at the heart of the current climate dilemma. We can only realize a revolutionary change when we come to accept that the basis of the climate crisis rests in its spiritual origin, our failure to live a values-inspired way of life by embracing our basic interconnection with other life and the state of impermanence that we share with all living beings. Deprived of the compassionate sensibility that such consciousness would engender, as well as inform our behaviors toward other sentient beings with humility and love, we have lived a political existence by trying to control rather than learning to live with life as it is. This mania to control life is not inherent to all human beings, however, but most notably distinguishes its civilized variety. For instance, it is atypical of many quote unquote uncivilized people who, in contrast to their civilized brethren, have the good fortune to be born to and raised by societies that both recognize from birth and honor indeed their inherent connection to nature and the rest of life. Civilized folks, on the other hand, are deprived of this basic feature that we require to living a sane existence. We arrive to a political society that is blind to this necessity, wedded to a radical individualism that urges us toward exercising power over the rest of life. This results in the power relationships like patriarchy, white supremacy, and capitalism, not to mention humans over nature, that both characterize and are the curse of our civilization. So seeds for thought and discussion later. To be continued.
To help us get into a mindset of reverence for Mother Earth, we're going to start our music this morning with the chant, Ancient Mother. We'll repeat it 5 times, so I ask you to just kind of sink into the words and sing along with us.
Ancient Mother, I hear you calling. Ancient Mother, I hear your song. Ancient Mother, I feel your laughter. Ancient Mother, I taste your tears. Ancient Mother, I hear you calling. Ancient Mother, I hear your song. Ancient Mother, I feel your laughter. Ancient Mother, I taste your tears. Ancient Mother, I hear you calling. Ancient Mother, I hear your song. Ancient Mother, I feel your laughter. Ancient Mother, I taste your tears. Ancient Mother, I hear you calling. Ancient Mother, I hear your song. Ancient Mother, I feel your laughter. Ancient Mother, I taste your tears. Ancient Mother, I hear you calling. Ancient Mother, I hear your song. Ancient Mother, I hear your laughter. Ancient Mother, I taste your tears.
We have a story for you today. And through the magic of an online program, Julaine will turn the pages up there. This is It Takes a Village by Hillary Rodham Clinton. What does it take to change the world? Sometimes it takes a child. To make a village. We all have a place in the village, a job to do, a lot to learn. Kids don't come with instructions, but neither do grown-ups. Every child needs a champion or two or 3 or more. And the right tool to get the job done. Every family needs help sometimes. Kindness and caring matter. Playing matters too. And resting. Because the world is in a hurry, but children are not. The village needs every one of us to help, and every one of us to believe in each other. Children are born believers and citizens too. Let us build a village worthy of all children. Yay, may it be so. And now we will have our affirmation. Tina will read.
Mute. Okay. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other and with the source of our being.
We will now have the offering, where you can give to the ongoing work of this congregation and food for the family center. And while we're doing this, you'll notice on the wall on Zoom and also in your orders of service, some questions that we will be asking you to ponder later in the service. We're giving you a little heads up. So.
Thank you, Bill, for that rendition and for the offering time. My name is Anne Marie Nofel, and I'm part of this wonderful community, proud to be. and I'm coming to you from Portland, Maine. I think most of you know that by now. I'm going to be talking a little bit about how we are an unfinished project. So let me start by talking a little bit about a revolution that we've all been familiar with through time. I'm going to start with just a tiny reading from the Declaration of Independence in 1776. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, derive their just powers from the consent of the government. 1776. And then again, in 1789, a preamble to the Constitution of the United States. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and to our prosperity, do ordain and establish the Constitution of the United States of America. And so the story on this particular place of America begins. Ours is an immature and an imperfect democracy. Declaring independence does not wipe away the cultural and institutional legacy of 5,000 years of empire dominating the people, the resources, and the planet. In 1776, declaring liberty and building democracy in the face of profound odds, liberty from the most powerful nation of their day, surrounded by loyalists and royalists and egoists. Those who joined the rebellion were as diverse as their circumstances. These were slave-owning aristocrats, abolitionists, farmers, privateers, bonded laborers, merchants, runaways, and yes, idealists. They did not yet have a national identity. But these two documents defied the reality of the times. All created equal, government powered by the people, for the people. These were radical restoring, revisioning ideas, and for the most part, they were not welcome. They are an example of the yearning to create and change the prevailing stories that limited human potential. A proposal, if you will. But the prevailing stories held most people captive. Yes, even now. The powers that be, a phrase I learned at the age of 14, the powers that be hold the people's consciousness and resources captive still. Some ideas: wealth as power, information as power, distraction as power. Today, corporations gather data on people from our first posted ultrasound pictures. Yes, artificial intelligence systems can influence what we pay attention to, and they can influence what we remain ignorant of. We accept the reality that we have never been the democracy that we imagine. We have never been the democracy that we have imagined ourselves to be. We have always had imperial influences. So let me tell you a contemporary story contrasting hierarchy and dominion with a network of partnership and sharing, because that's what we're all about. Keep on growing and keep evolving and keep the faith. In India, there's a small village called Piplantry. Piplantry, isn't that a great name? Piplantry. 15 years ago, it was barren. The land was dry. The air was filled with marble dust because this little village lay in an area where marble was being greatly mined for the few. In 2007, the young daughter of the village elder died of dehydration. Kiran was 17. Her mother and father were in turns the elected head of the village. And after the 13 days of ritual mourning, her parents planted a tree in Kiran's honor. And they began using funds available for the village development to plant and maintain trees. They planted trees for every newborn girls, because they wanted to change the prevailing story of females being less valuable than males. And as the trees grew, more villagers bought into the idea. One mother of 5 daughters stated, "It seemed as if the greenery, the cleaner air, and the cooler temperatures created by the trees helped people realize they have value too." The tree planting drive prompted a cultural shift. The thriving greenery improved the air, the water, the soil, and the microclimate. Groundwater can now be found at 4 to 6 meters in the forested areas. Prior to 2007, the levels had fallen below 152 meters. Organic matter in the soil has enriched it and improved its water holding capacity. The village commons now offer lemons, gooseberries, honey, and other produce. Motivated by this tree planting, some mining companies have started greening their old dumping grounds. In 2018, the government developed a training center to educate people in the Piplantic model. Water harvesting and tree planting. So, girls, trees, water, biodiversity, village commons, flourishing together. Literally, from the ground and the people and the community cooperating together. We can change the stories that prevail. Thank you.
Thank you, Anne Marie. Our next speaker is Larry Shirk. Please come up, Larry.
About 25 years ago, a remarkable development started far east of here And I think it's a little bit of a strange, it seems to us a little bit of a strange place to think about escaping empire. But I want to tell you a little bit about the Spirit of Shanghai and the start of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. The Spirit of Shanghai is very simple. All international transactions must be mutually helpful, based on mutual dignity and respect and well-being, and in the phrase coined by some translator, good neighborliness. The Shanghai Cooperation Organization is, to me, the most hopeful development since the formation of the United Nations. The whole world is excited and hopeful, except in Western Europe and North America, where we don't talk about such things as we struggle to maintain capitalist hegemony and world dominance. If you do a search on SCO, you will notice that articles written in the US and EU seek to find negative features and problems with the SCO, because it is most definitely a threat to empire. A great many observers have seen that as the 20th century communism in Russia and China has morphed into new directions, Russia and China have surged into the vacuum of world leadership toward peace, stability, and prosperity. They have come to see that they were the ones fated to assume that leadership, in which they have met great success. It was clear to all that the US could not be involved, since our entire program is world hegemony for us and regime change for everyone else. Or in G.W. Bush's expression, you are either with us or against us. Here's a little bit from the preamble of the charter of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. It's typical charter language. It starts out with a whereas, and it gets to the verb at the end. So I'll do the best I can with it. Based on historically established ties between their peoples, striving for further enhancement of comprehensive cooperation, desiring to jointly contribute to the strengthening of peace and ensuring of security and stability in the region, in the environment of developing political multipolarity and economic and information globalization, being convinced that the establishment of SCO will facilitate more efficient common use of opening possibilities and counteracting new challenges and threats. Considering that interaction with the SCO will promote the realization of a huge potential of good neighborliness, unity, and cooperation between states and their peoples. Proceeding from the spirit of mutual trust, mutual advantage, equality, mutual consultation, respect for cultural variety, and aspiration for joint development that was clearly established at the meeting of heads of 6 states in 2001 in Shanghai. And then the rest of the document is 26 articles, which I won't go into. The SCO currently, well, it started out with the Shanghai 5 and it's grown. It currently comprises as members China, India, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Russia, Pakistan, Tajikistan, and Uzbekistan. And as observer states interested in acceding to full membership, Afghanistan, Belarus, Iran, and Mongolia. And as dialogue partners, talking and thinking about it, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Cambodia, Nepal, Sri Lanka, Turkey, Egypt, Qatar, Saudi Arabia. This kind of excitement and world association is incredibly attractive to countries as we see the world nations flocking to the SCO and BRICS. Feels to me like part of the path to Earth community.
Thank you, Larry. And now moving over to the western side of the world, I'm thrilled to talk about another multicultural effort to move the world in a positive direction. The Earth Charter. And I want to give you a little history of how the Earth Charter came to be. Not that one. The idea of the Earth Charter originated in 1987 when the UN World Commission on Environment and Development called for a new charter to guide the transition to sustainable development. Maurice Strong, Secretary General of the 1992 Rio Earth Summit. Who remembers that? Yeah, well, not so many, but here we are. Proposed that they draft and adopt an Earth Charter. But the Rio Declaration fell short. They couldn't agree on a final document. In the mid-1990s, Strong and Mikhail Gorbachev launched a new Earth Charter initiative, which involved hundreds of organizations and thousands of individuals in a worldwide process. The final text of the Earth Charter was approved at the UNESCO headquarters in Paris on March 2000. I invite you to look up on the web www.earthcharter.org. And I know I've spoken about it before, but I want to give you a little example. Okay. So on this side, we have information about the Earth Charter with information like what is it? Why is it important? Who wrote it? Who has endorsed it? How can the Earth Charter be used? And so on. And on this side is the actual Earth Charter itself. So I am going to read a little bit from the preamble and give you some of the headings for the principle. I'll give you the headings that give you the principles. We stand at a critical moment in Earth's history, a time when humanity must choose its future. As the world becomes increasingly interdependent and fragile, the future at once holds great peril and great promise. To move forward, we must recognize that in the midst of a magnificent diversity of cultures and life forms, we are one human family and one Earth community with a common destiny. We must join together to bring forth a sustainable global society founded on respect for nature, universal human rights, economic justice, and a culture of peace. Towards this end, it is imperative that we, the peoples of Earth, declare our responsibility to one another, to the greater community of life, and to future generations. So, principles, number one, respect and care for the community of life. And then there are several points under that. Number two, ecological integrity. Number three, social and economic justice. 4, democracy, nonviolence, and peace. There are a few copies of the Earth Charter out on the harvest table. You can also find it online. And I invite you to look further and read what is in the Earth Charter under all of those things. The closing part is the way forward. As never before in history, common destiny beckons us to seek a new beginning. Such renewal is the promise of these Earth Charter principles. To fulfill this promise, we must commit ourselves to adopt and promote the values and objectives of the Charter. This requires a change of mind and heart. It requires a new sense of global interdependence and universal responsibility. We must imaginatively develop and apply the vision of a sustainable way of life locally, nationally, regionally, and globally. Our cultural diversity is a precious heritage, and different cultures will find their own distinctive ways to realize the vision. We must deepen and expand the global dialogue that generated the Earth Charter, for we have much to learn from the ongoing collaborative search for truth and wisdom. And I'll end with, let ours be a time remembered for the awakening of a new reverence for life, the firm resolve to achieve sustainability, the quickening of the struggle for justice and peace, and the joyful celebration of life. Wait, is this a great document to have as a guide? Now, what about implementation? So, we invite you to join us in discussion. I'm going to pull over this easel. And there we go. I have colored markers, and you can see the questions in the back of your order of service. Or wherever they are in your order of service. How would you recognize the effects of empire in your life? And also, how would you recognize the effects of Earth community in your life? So, the effects of empire. Why don't we start with these effects of empire? And Bill.
Lack of universal health care.
Lack of universal health care. How true. Hallie, would you like to come up and just, you can be seeing if there are hands raised and help while I write.
I see a hand, Bob.
Starvation wages.
Starvation wages. Wow.
Okay, Dan,
Use of words like must and required. And universal and one. Those sound to me all like empire words.
Must. Required.
Yeah.
Next, what was the next two?
Universal
Universal.
and one.
Okay, thank you, Dan.
Larry,
Lies and denial.
Lies and denial. I would add, hungry people.
Maybe tag on to that also unhoused people.
yeah, homeless.
So.
Thank you, Julie. And I got one. Environmental, havoc, what's the word? Havoc, thank you. Environmental havoc? Havoc. 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 Havoc.
Okay, go ahead.
Restricting voting rights. Restricted voting rights? Yeah, restricting voting rights.
Yes,
Misplaced priorities. Misplaced priorities. Okay, thanks, Julie. I would like to add overflowing prisons.
sure. Oh.
Okay.
Tina,
Tina,
Overturning of Roe v. Wade. I don't know if that's up there yet or not.
no.
yeah, and all the repercussions from that, you don't have to write this, Sharon, but in the many states that are just so limiting women's rights. It's-
Playing God. Playing God. Okay.
Mm.
Well, two things. Running out of room. It's hard for me to write way down here, and we're running out of time. And we want to get to the next question, which is, what are the signs of Earth community? How do you recognize the effects of Earth community? So. Effects of earth community in our lives. Shortened to EC, earth community.
Go ahead.
Listening to one another and to the earth.
Hello,
Yes,
this is Tina. Having this as our theme for the year.
yeah.
Bill.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Bill.
Ripples of kindness.
Ripples of kindness.
Yeah, ripples of kindness, not just to each other as humans, but to all life, all life.
Absolutely.
Plants, trees, moths, flies, I don't care. Oh,
Ripple of still water.
Ripple in still water, yes.
Larry.
Human dignity is prevalent.
What was that?
Human dignity is prevalent.
Ah, I have another one.
Yeah,
The wonderful young women that are coming along in our future. The articulateness and the just them
Leaders.
voicing their opinions and talking and just being present.
I'd like to add community gardens.
Good one.
Yes.
I don't remember the name of this woman or her project, but she was here a couple of months ago. But she had a project where she maybe scavenged all the leftover farm produce.
Salvation Farms.
Yes. That's what it is. That's what it is.
I'll put that down.
Salvation
Yeah.
Farms.
And I just want to let you know from that, I saw Sue Buckholtz after we had done that. And she said that Teresa, who's the director of the whole, who created it and is directing it, was so moved that it was important to us. So she's going to do more speaking about what they're doing.
Wow.
Great.
Yeah. I got one.
Okay.
Maybe go along with this, Sharon, it's cooperation with people like-minded in this endeavor. Cooperation with like-minded people? Yeah. This thing.
What about
I don't know.
cooperation with,
I don't know how to.
with people who think differently too? That'd be,
Cooperation with all people. Would that be okay, Tony? Cooperation, yeah. I mean, because we're gonna try. Yeah. To, I'll just put cooperation. Yeah. About that.
Yeah.
Okay, who is that up on the screen?
Ann.
Oh, Ann and then Dick. Ann.
There's a greater interest and respect for Indigenous voices and wisdom in the dominant culture. You know, they never forgot this. We strayed. And yeah.
Okay, Dick.
Thank you, Anne. Okay, and
Yes.
Dick,
Black River Action Team.
Brett,
Yeah,
yes. Local example of action, values in action. Julie.
Embracing alternative forms of energy.
Alternative forms of energy, yes. Got a little more room here, Bob.
Women in leadership roles.
Women in leadership roles, great. I like men in leadership roles too, but women bring something that has been missing, so.
We might have to,
Wait, I think we're gonna have to leave it there because we want to have action steps. What are we gonna do? What steps can we take? We're gonna write it down, people, so there's a record of what we say today. Because guess what? I'm sure you're all like me. Sometimes it's good to have a reminder. Action steps. Okay, who's got one? Yeah.
Strive for understanding.
Okay. Dick,
I would say vote, and an example of that is that if all the women who had voted for Obama had also voted for Hillary Clinton, she would have been elected, and we would still have Roe versus Wade.
yeah.
Mm.
Vote.
But too many women stayed home and did not vote.
That's an important action step.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that we all vote. But. a good
and,
reminder how
and along
important it is.
with that, communication with legislators, the Congress people, and
Mm.
very much.
I just want to also add that appreciate that you have the right to vote. Because a lot of people around the world do not. And it makes a big difference.
So I'm just adding the word appreciate. Appreciate.
I have one. Believe in yourself.
Hey,
Have trust. Trust yourself.
trust.
Dan?
Okay, Dan,
This is based on a theory that, climate change is caused by human activity. My suggestion is do less.
very good, Dan.
Do less.
Yeah, like what happened when we first got into COVID and we all did less and the earth did better. Right?
Right.
So concrete steps that I'm sure a lot of us do, buy local, grow your own food as much as you can, buy from local
That's-
producers.
It's an interesting phrase, do less, because actually, if you grow your own food and do things like that, you're not going to be doing less. You'll be working hard, but doing less of things that are harmful. How do we put this? It's an interesting, yeah, do less.
It's an
Drive less.
oxymoron, isn't it?
Do
Do less.
Julian is waving her hand.
Lead by example, less talk, more action.
Okay.
Okay, Tony?
Don't buy into the economic system, live a simple lifestyle.
Don't buy into the economic system, the current economic system. It's really hard to not buy into it at all.
No, but
Try not to buy into the current economic system.
agreed or whatever.
Yeah.
Like always needing more. Always needing, yeah, that type of thing. You got it.
So how do I put that in
I don't know.
simple to write?
Less is more.
Less is more. There we go.
I just want to interject here. This was in the shopper paper, there's something coming up called Bits and Pieces starting Tuesday, January 17th, Fact TV, which I don't have a TV, so I don't know what it is. We'll be airing the program Bits and Pieces. The 30-minute program will air, it doesn't matter. The pilot program will begin by looking at the decades-old alliance between big tobacco and big food and how the marketing of cigarettes is now being used to market food. Questions regarding anyway, so I'll leave this outside, but so you can look at it and see, but I thought it might be interesting to see what Empire is doing now in relation to food. Okay, Dan.
One other suggestion that this reminds me of is if we could just outlaw marketing.
Boy, that would be not even your local food co-op or your local farmers market.
Not necessary.
Or less profit motivation, and more,
All
I'm
of
gonna
it.
say
Oh,
that's
somebody's
probably
in
included here.
okay.
What do we have?
Anne.
Anne Marie?
no,
Anne Darling.
yes.
Hi, here's a couple things that I have done. One is there's this group, it's a national group called Buy Nothing. And it basically, and it's hyper local and it supports building a gift economy. There's no exchange of money, and there is a conscious effort to build community among neighbors. And I'm just getting to know it, but I think it's pretty cool.
That was buy nothing. Or it's a gift economy, build gift economy. I like
Right,
that.
and there's already a structure for that that's been used and tried out and seems to work pretty well. I had just found out about it, but other people have been doing it. The other, which is something I've been working on for quite a while, is speaking truth to power in terms of nuclear power and nuclear weapons. And
That's
so yeah, I could speak for a long time about that, but
We
nuclear
might
power,
ask you to, you
Right.
said, we might
What?
ask you to speak on that for a long time.
yeah, that's
excuse me, I didn't hear you.
we might ask you to
Oh.
speak about it longer another day.
I'd be happy to. But
That's,
I'd like to know more about the gift economy.
okay, we're planning to look into that
Yeah.
gift economy. Larry,
The marketing comment reminds me. Vastly different concept of money.
yeah,
What?
Vastly different concept of money.
Uh-huh. Thank you.
yes.
Forming a discussion group.
Yeah.
Ah. There was a hand in the back there. Somebody raised their hand.
Julie, sorry.
Sorry. Hold on, what was that last one? I got vastly different concept of money and then,
Forming a discussion group.
oh, forming discussion group. Thank you, Anne Marie.
All right,
Okay.
Julie.
Julie,
Consider heat pumps, solar power, electric vehicles.
would that be, where is it?
Alternatives, or it was on the previous page.
Oh,
These are concrete steps.
okay, alternative energy.
Purchasing.
Purchasing alternative energy. Okay, we're running out of time and we have a little bit more of the service to
Be-
do. So
To be continued.
this is an ongoing discussion. So if you have something else, you can come up afterwards and we'll add things on, but we will keep this and add to it.
Right.
Okay.
Good job. Yay.
Thanks, everybody. Anne Marie, do you want to do a brief meditation for us?
Yes, I'll take just a few minutes of your time. I invite you to settle into a time of meditation. We, the people of this earth time, must remember to mind ourselves and each other. So let us now take in a beautiful bounty of breath. Bring it deeply inside and let it nourish your body and your soul. Place your hand, one hand on your heart, if you will, and place a hand on your center, if you will, and breathe deeply and feel your life and feel your source of being. Feel your heartbeat. You are part of the great web of life. You are part of this earth and this time, and you are here. And please breathe that right down deep inside of you. You are here now. Your body is a self-organizing healer. If within you are the gifts for the healing of the world. Let us trust this ancient wisdom. That is ours. It is always ours. Let it lead us in the ways of cooperation with all life, with all living beings. And let us gather in this wisdom. Let us gather in this wisdom and emerge renewed and rested. Renewed and rested. I am asking you now to open your eyes carefully and look around you, look at your neighbors. If you're in the sanctuary, look left and right and look back and front, look around at your neighbors on Zoom. This is who we are. This is our village. This is our community. And we are the ones that we have been waiting for. Yes, we are. Blessed be. Thank you.
Thank you, Anne Marie. And we have from Julaine the song "We'll Build a Land." You're welcome to sing along.
Well, back to Tim Stevenson with closing words, his closing words of his article. He does talk quite a bit about how ego is involved in all of this, ultimately our climate crisis. While necessary to our early survival, ego is also something that from a developmental standpoint, we can grow beyond to where we are able to live life without being dependent upon its chimerical power of power over. Unfortunately, many of us are having a hard time to reach this spiritual maturity. It is only by resolving this basic power contradiction that we're able to plumb the heart of the climate crisis. Responding to the latter as the spiritual crisis it is, provides the true power we require to live successfully with our natural and inescapable powerlessness. To do this, we engage in a practice not to transcend this messy world, but to show up in it, to be a spiritual presence who encounters life with an approach grounded in the acceptance of the people we essentially are. We're not reinventing ourselves, rather we're just finally and fully being who we've been all along. Cultivating being real is the best contribution we can make to the transformed world we need. By engaging in a values practice in whatever situation we find ourselves, we shine the light of our essential goodness on what is.